Okay, so we're going to work here on Sam's image, and I'm going to file open, open recent because I already had it opened when I was with you. So there it is, and I'm going to open another one, which is the Misty Forest. So I'm going to select all, then I'm going to edit, copy, and then I'm going to go to the picture of Sam and paste it in place. I have it made this size just so that you can see how to change the size of an image. So go to Edit, Free Transform, and then just pull on the edges and fit it to the size, whatever way you think is best, and then press Return. Now you have two layers, one on top of the other. So I'm going to add a layer mask, reveal all, and it will be white, and you see it's popped there, a white triangle, rectangle there on the right hand side. I'm going to get my brush, the first brush, and I'm going to paint through on the layer mask. So I'm going to change the opacity. Now I've changed the mode to multiply and the opacity. I'm just bringing it down so that I can see through. Okay, and I've changed the opacity of the brush so it's not really, really strong. And I'm going to change my color to black because I'll be painting on a white layer, mask layer. And it's got a white square around it, so I know I'm working on the mask layer. And just gently going to go around the image. I want to keep some of the darker color of the texture on the bottom, so I'm just working on the parts that I want to shine through. Now if I want to work on her lips, I need to go to layer and I need to merge it down to get rid of the texture and the reveal layer mask. So now I can work on her lips. And I want to add more color to the edges, but I don't want to lose the texture of her lips. So I'm going to decrease the opacity so I can see through, so I don't lose all the texture of her lips. That's a little bit too low. Okay, so I'm pressing Option, Alt, and using the color picker to pick up the color that was originally there, like that. And I'm going to go over it again in a minute with the clone tool. I'm going to decrease the size of the brush using my brackets and just fill in the edges like before. I'm going to go to my clone tool, increase my brush size with the brackets, and then I'm just going to fill in a little bit, not too much. It's better to have too little than too much because you can always go back and put more in. It looks more realistic as well. So with the clone tool, I'm just pressing the option, picking up the part that I want to clone and then painting on her lips. Now I'm using the heal tool. Select the plaster just under the eyedropper and I'm just going around her skin just to clear it up. I think I'm going to get rid of some of the blotchiness that's around her face. So I'm going down to my skin brushes. I'm going to pick a light skin brush. And now I'm using my color picker, just pressing the option button. I'm picking on the color. And then I'm just going to put it around her face, like so. I'm just going to lighten it a bit, it's still a bit dark. I don't mind if it goes over her cheeks, because I'm going to color in her cheeks again later on. So I'm just picking up the light color around there and just cleaning it up. I'm zooming in and out just so I can see that it looks realistic looking. Okay, I'm going to change the color of her lips. So I'm using the lasso tool and I'm going around the outsides. I want to change her lips to a purple color because purple is the opposite color to yellow. So I've selected it, now refine edge, and I'm going to feather it like I showed you before. Not too much, just a little bit. Then I'm going to go to layer, new adjustment layer, hue saturation. I'm going to change the color to more purple tones. You can change the saturation down a bit, just until I'm happy with the color that it is. Okay, I'm going to fix that little bit of red that's down there. But first of all, I have to merge down my layer because I can't work on a layer mask. Okay, so I'm just picking up the color again there with my color picker, Alt, and then click on the color and the color picker will pop up, and then I just continue painting. So I have the highlight tool here, the dodge tool, and I'm just dodging it to bring out the highlights. Just to give it a more 3D effect. I've gone to my brush and now I'm going to my paintbrush, and now I'm going to go down and take a skin brush and just carry on working on her face. Just zooming in close so I can work better. Okay, I've decided to get rid of her eyebrows. So using the same skin brush, I'm just painting over it, just lightly. My opacity is not fully up, just halfway about. So you can see I'm using my color picker here, just using the option key and just picking up the color so that it blends in nicely. Just have to take your time with this. I'm using the burn tool here just to create a shadow, to give it a more 3D effect. Okay, so I'm going back down to my skin brushes because I'm still not happy with the blotchiness of her face. I'll just highlight there under her nose. And this area here. So you just have to take your time if you're painting to the extent that I do. But then that's what gives my image is the kind of painterly effect. Okay, just zooming out for another quick look. I'm just picking up there using the alt and picking up the color that's in her lips, and I'm going to paint it on her eyelids there just to introduce that color a bit more into the image. I'm going to put it on her cheeks also, and I'm going to create some flowers in that color on her headpiece and on her dress in a moment. Okay, so I'm going to increase her eyes just to show you how you do it, but I'm going to be decreasing them too because, so you go to filter, so I've made a selection, filter, and liquify, and now I'm going to use the bloat tool, which is here, and bloat them. I reckon it's just going to look very unrealistic looking, so I'm just showing you this tool so you know how to use it if you need to. So you can see it's quite unrealistic looking. Okay, just having a look around the image to make sure everything's okay. And I think I'll just go to the burn tool and just burn a little bit just to separate the top lip from the bottom lip. Just like that. And I'm just going to highlight the top of her lip there. Using the dodge tool in the highlight mode, which you can see across the top bar there. So I'm just trying to bring out the highlights just around her mouth and her nose. Not too much, just a little bit. All these little things make a difference. Her eyes are okay. So I think I'll use my brush here, and I'm just going to use the color picker with Alt, and I'm going to pick the blue. It's actually kind of a pale pinky color. So I'm just going to pick the color that's already in her eye and then clean it up. Don't use white whatever you do because it just looks totally unrealistic. Always use the color that's around. That's the best way. As you can see, the eye that's furthest away is a little darker, and that's okay. I want to pick up some of the colour that's there and just dot it around her eye, just where, you know, where the light is shining. And a little bit there. And then I'm going to use the blur tool. I'm just going to blur it a bit so it doesn't look very unrealistic looking. There we go. I just blur a small bit. That's a handy tool. Okay, I'm just zooming in and out just to see what it looks like from far away. Right, I'm going to put our eyes back the way they were. Filter. Liquify. And then I'm going to reduce it back to the way it was. Okay. Now I'm select all. Okay, so as I said, I'm going to introduce some of that colour in there now. Before I do that, I'm still looking at that hair on the right hand side of her face there. And I think I'm just going to darken it a bit. Because it looks like a beard or something. So let me see. Yeah. I'm just going to go down, and before I start working on her hair, I'll just put some of that purple in on her cheeks. And then I'll do her hair afterwards. Okay, that's grand. A bit more. Alright, if I want to do the other cheek, I need to isolate her cheek so that it doesn't spray onto her hair. So I'm going to get the lasso tool and just follow the outline of her face. Let's make a quick selection. So this selection has been made when I need to invert it so that I can work outside of it, and then it will protect what is inside that selection. And I'm inverting it again so that I can use the burn tool here, and I'm just going to burn it a bit there because some of the white that I was using for her skin went on her hair, so I'm just getting rid of that. Select all. I'm just going to brighten up her skin a little bit by using the dodge tool. And if you look up above, I have it on highlight mode. I'm changing it here to the midtones. I don't want it to burn it too much or it will just go really orange. And then I'm going to go down to her dress and just highlight what's closest to me, especially in the folds of her dress. Give it more of a 3D effect. And around her neck there. Okay, I'm going to go to the clone tool. I'm just going to just increase it here. I'm just bringing the opacity down a bit here. I'm just using the first brush, and I'm just cloning from here on the left and then painting on the right. And I have my opacity down quite low. I'm just moving in and out again so I can see that it still looks realistic looking. Okay, and now I'm using the burn tool. I'm going to use the first brush with my burn tool. I'm going to burn it so it doesn't look as see-through, because it kind of looks like a beard if it's like too opaque. Okay, so her face is looking a bit too white, so I have used the color picker there on her chest. Okay, I'm going to pull up a brush here, and I'm going to create a new layer, and it's a new fill layer, and it's a solid color, and it will come up the color that I chose on her chest. Press OK. And I'm going to change the blend mode to multiply. And it's very dark here, as you can see, so I'm going to decrease the opacity. And that will darken her face there a little bit and just pull the whole image together. I don't want to use too much, just take the white stark look off her face. So now her face has tones of her chest in it also. So I'm going to paint on top of the white layer mask in using the black color, and I'm just going to do her eyes and her lips just to let that color shine through. So I've got the clone tool here, and I've taken a flower, and I'm going to bring the color from her lips, the purple color, throughout the image. I'm just going to increase the opacity. Let's pick it up there using my option. And click it. Well, that looks too much like lips, so I'm not really happy with that. So I'm just going to go back a bit. Okay, and I'm going to just take a different brush because, there we go, I'll use this brush here. Okay, so I'm just going to use the clone tool on her lips and just dot a few flowers around her hair. So that will pull her lips, cheeks and hair together, and then I'm going to put some on her dress. And I might even put a few pieces of lace, that color, around her neck. Okay. There we go. Okay, I'm just going to decrease that brush in size because it's getting closer. Make it a bit smaller looking. Right. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm going to go to my brush, and I have some little round lace brushes that I'm going to use, but for her neck. So let me get my brush here. Okay, so I have the right color all set up there using the color picker. I'll just pop a few flowers in since I still have this flower brush here. And I'll just show you how you can just manipulate the brush like I showed you before, so you can change the angle of it like that. There we go. I can pick from my brushes here also. So I'm going to pick this little lacy round brush. I'm going to decrease it in size. Clone from, just use the color picker here and just change the dynamics here. Can move it around so it looks like the right. perspective. I'm going to go back a bit because it's like too strong. It looks a bit unrealistic looking. Make it a bit smaller. There we go. Get my brushes up again so I can change the dynamics of it. I just move my spacing to the side so I can see what it's going to look like. So I'm just trying to get the perspective right here. Okay. And I can darken it a bit in a moment with my burn tool. Just to make it blend in a bit more. There's nothing worse than something just looking like you just plopped it in there for the sake of it. At least if you use the burn tool and the dodge tool on things that you put into it, it can kind of just make it blend in a little better. And that's it. That's her finished. So I'm quite happy with that. And I think I'll leave it at that. Thank you very much.